The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily represent those of this station or its management. It's time for Where You Live with Gene and Tony, the show that's all about owning, buying, selling, renting, and association management. If it involves a home, we'll talk about it. Here's your chance to get your homeowner questions answered. From the Natural Lawn and Landscape Studios, here's Gene and Tony.
Needed the shelter of someone's arms, and there you were. Needed someone to understand my...
Good morning. Welcome to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. I'm Gene Sullivan.
And I'm Tony Crockett. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing fine.
And Chris, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, we're just fine
all
here.
just
We're all just fine, folks.
Fine and
That's,
dandy.
Chris Wyatt Earp Huberty, the fastest board op this side of the Mississippi.
All right.
And you are listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We're broadcasting from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios. And remember, Natural Green is a locally owned and operated lawn and landscape care company. Their mission: to use the most environmentally sensitive products available to keep your lawn and landscape looking lush, beautiful, while still healthy for both people and pets. You want to give them a call, see what they can do at your home. Call them at 763-213-2410. We're also brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. Well, boy, I tell you, this last week I was out at the state legislature again a couple of times.
See, I knew you were out having fun.
Oh yeah, it's this is the kind of fun I could do without, but the legislature is in session and it's important. There's a lot of pending bills that are being looked at, and they need the input of Minnesotans to know how they're going to come down or weigh in on a particular matter. And
I'm
so
glad you're there, Gene.
I am glad to it. I'm glad we have so many people that are joining me with that too.
Good.
We have some great folks giving some great perspective. What we want to do today on today's show is let you know a little bit about what's going on at the legislature, what you can do to take part, because, folks, you're going to need to give some input here as well to our legislators. Without it, we will see for sure the law of unintended consequences. Well, let's begin, shall we, with our first story, as usual, in property management in the news. Property management in the news is brought to you by Home Furniture and Abbey Floor Coverings. Their showrooms are staffed with professionals who will help you to choose what you need to fit both your lifestyle and budget. Whatever you need, chances are they'll have what you're looking for. Now, if you wish to avail yourself of special pricing and discounts you're not going to find anywhere else, all Where You Live listeners, call Customer Service Coordinator Lori Matson at this number, 952-224-2663. The number again, 952-224-2663, and ask for your Where You Live with Gene and Tony special pricing. Well, we have a story that we're going to begin with, and we've got a news clip, and this comes from a CBS affiliate, Channel 11 News in Dallas, KDVD. And Chris, go ahead and roll the tape.
Now, an escalating feud between neighbors ended today with gunfire and the death of a mother of 5 and her boyfriend. Police say a man at a condominium complex on Abrams in northeast Dallas killed his upstairs neighbors. CBS 11's Jack Fink is live near the complex. So, Jack, any idea what was behind the feud?
Well, Karen, residents here at the Sable Ridge condo complex say they are simply stunned, and what they are telling us is that the suspect argued with the victims over their pit bull and the noise coming from their upstairs unit. They say this has been going on for months now, and they never expected it would come to this. Residents at this condo complex woke up to rapid gunfire when it was over a mother of 5 young children and her boyfriend were shot and killed. And neighbors say it was all the result of a dispute between neighbors.
They got kids and they play with my son all the time, and they go to school with a lot of the people around here.
It's very sad. I heard the gunshots this morning, and when I saw and heard that it was her, I just, how do you take this kind of thing? She's here one day and gone the next. It's very sad.
Neighbors say the suspect is an elderly man who lives downstairs from the woman and her children. Residents tell us for about a year, the victims and a suspect argued over the woman's pit bull, seen here being led away this morning by Animal Services. Neighbors say the problem was the dog went to the bathroom on the balcony, which often dripped downstairs. Noise was also a problem. Gilbert Leal says the suspect often complained to condo management about the problem.
He got frustrated because he couldn't get the cooperation of the board and management to enforce rules and regulations.
Now, I called the Condo Homeowners Association here, and the president here referred me over to their attorney, who was unavailable for comment. In the meantime, Child Protective Services tells me all 5 children will now live with relatives. Neighbors say 4 of the children were at school at the time of the shooting this morning. The newborn, who was born right after Christmas, was inside the apartment and unhurt.
So here we have a situation where someone actually believes that a reasonable response to a dog defecating and urinating on the deck or balcony above them and going down below. I mean, that's awful. That's just
It is.
That is just ugly. But a reasonable response is to take out your gun and to kill the owners of that pet.
So many of us have lost all sense of proportion, don't you think?
You wonder, yes, where is reasonableness in our society anymore?
Yeah, I don't know. This is a tragic, tragic story, and I'm sorry to hear that they are dragging the homeowners association into the argument as a culpable party.
Yes, it was kind of interesting when you've got a person who was very aggravating to another individual, okay?
Sure. This household was causing problems for a neighbor.
I mean, I wouldn't want to live in a situation like that. But you have someone who's being very aggravating, and you have someone who is, you want to say nuts. I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing reasonable. There's nothing at all that says that you jump from, I'm perturbed by your dog's actions, now I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And yet, where is the responsibility being pegged? It appears to be the homeowner association and the management company.
I know it. And the comment or the quote was, he got frustrated because he didn't get the cooperation of the board and management to enforce the rules and regulations. Well, we know how limited the board and management are in enforcement in a community where each unit is owned privately by a private individual.
And when the person says, we're not getting cooperation from the board or management, I think what they're really saying is, you are not guaranteeing to me the outcome that I wish.
Right.
And so you couldn't fix it for me. You couldn't give me 100%.
That's right.
Compliance with all the rules and regulations. So you're the one that's at fault with this.
And the association cannot make that assurance, can they? What power does the association have, Gene?
Well, it is a very limited one, of course. They do have the ability for rules and regulations, and the association is able to govern themselves as a particular community and to be able to adopt and come up with the rules that make sense for them, whether that's with what you can do with pets and what you can't do. And
how do they enforce them? What power do they have to enforce?
The only one that they have is they write a letter, a notice, and then they have the power to fine and to have fines placed on an individual's account. And that's it.
They have no power to remove the animal. They have no power to evict the family.
No.
If it was a rental situation, the landlord could evict someone who was causing so much trouble for neighbors.
When someone owns the home, you can't evict.
This is a real danger of the whole attitude that we see everywhere, that a homeowners association is like a landlord, that this is like a landlord-tenant relationship. It is not anything like a landlord-tenant relationship, and it's really causing problems for our legislators, our leaders, and our homeowners to think in those terms, don't you think?
I think so, very much.
It only causes more trouble.
Yes, and when I think of this situation, there are so many other things that could have taken place.
What would you advise?
Well, I have some suggestions for the board, for the management, and for the other homeowners living there, but we need to take a break. So why don't we do that right now? And when we come back, we can talk about that in this tragic situation of a person who killed two of their neighbors because of the actions of their dog. More about this after this break. You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony on AM 1280, The Patriot.